Read option, he keeps. Big hole! Walk the dog! Give him a bowl of water!
Clance, fires, caught! Touchdown, Jordan Matthews!
Holy cow!
Caught!
He's taking another shot in the end zone. A Dez! Touchdown, Dez Bryant! There's the X! Fields around left. Now he throws it to the end zone! Jason Witten! Touchdown! Cowboys win!
Welcome into First Take on a Monday. Look who's here. Donovan McNabb, Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman. I'm Molly Karam. Donovan, I tried to get them to dress up. I wanted to do a whole theme. I was denied. Too cool for school.
I am not in a funny mood. I'm not in a funny mood.
Really?
Well,
I wonder
Stephen A.
why.
kind of dressed up as the 1970s a little bit.
Oh. Do you have the same stylist as Cam?
So you had to go with the name?
I mean, is that what we got to do? I mean, listen.
Hey,
Listen, let me tell you.
I could go there too.
Oh, you're
I know you
also
can.
Hollywood.
Ralph Lauren,
But here's the point.
know.
Do you understand that Max Kellerman has no business in this conversation?
Max,
Let me
that was good.
expose Max Kellerman to the world. Max Kellerman, despite the money and everything else, because he's living large now, he got three
absolutely.
suits. He got 3 suits. He wears the same 3 suits and just mixes a shirt and a tie.
I got 10
He
suits.
wears 3. He wears 3 different suits. That's it,
Shirt
Donovan.
tie
That's
combinations got to be
Ain't
smooth.
that
I want to start
something?
counting the suits. This is the gray 3-piece.
Really?
Keep
You got a
That's
great,
one.
you got a great
Monday, that's one.
3-piece. You got a great 2-piece. You
There
got
will
a
be
black.
a different suit
So they have to
every
take
day
the
this
best
week.
off.
That's it.
Just
That's
take it
it.
back.
Oh, please. You talking about somebody's
Don't let it go
wardrobe.
like
You
that.
got. He knows it's true. You got to be crazy. Just because you put on a different
See, with
tie
that-
and shirt doesn't
See, you
cut
know
it.
he's got a whole closet full, because once you wear that one time, you're going to remember that.
What's wrong with
I don't
that?
remember that. I
It's
don't
pretty
remember
damn
that, so
smooth.
you got to have
I'll
a
give you, I'll give you
This is
that.
pretty damn smooth. You see,
Yeah.
you don't know better. I understand. I'm here for you. I'm here for you, man. I'm here for you, baby.
You know
I
what
understand.
Stephen
I
A's
understand.
favorite costume is? The blue star. How about them Cowboys? Dak Prescott winning the rookie quarterback duel. Yes, sir, I see you. Dez was big in his return, and Dallas takes a 2-game division lead at 6-1. The Eagles never got the ball in overtime. Stephen A., did the Cowboys win or the Eagles lose this week?
Cowboys won. Cowboys won. That's the way I look at it. You were down, you come back, you tie the score, you force overtime, and ultimately Dak Prescott handles his business by connecting with Jason Witten for the game with a touchdown. Now, 2 defenders collided in the end zone. That ain't their problem. That ain't their problem. When I got to play defense, you want me to go get you some water, some Gatorade too? What the hell you want? It's your job to make sure those kind of things don't happen. That clearly was the case. That clearly wasn't the case, rather, when it came to the Eagles last night, and you got what you got. Dak Prescott, 19 for 39, 287 yards, a TD, overcame an early interception. Give the brother props for that, because adversity hit him. He responded. Ezekiel Elliott, still balling, just 96 yards rushing, but 140 yards plus from scrimmage, 5th consecutive game. We have to pay attention to that. Dez Bryant, 4 receptions, 113 yards. Deep threat for you for a change. Didn't do anything, with short yardage situations, but throwing the ball 15 yards or more. They handled their business in that regard. It was a very competitive game, typical NFC East matchup. There's no doubt about it. But in the end, what it comes down to is this. As much as it hurt me to do, I did predict that the Dallas Cowboys would win this game, and a couple of dudes sitting up here with me thought otherwise. Listen and learn.
Look,
I agree.
The Eagles lost that game. And I was live tweeting this game, and I had to go back through my tweets to look at all the different ways that the Eagles lost it. And the reason they lost it is because of the rookie. They made rookie mistakes, not the quarterback. The head coach made rookie head coaching mistakes, as I tweeted last night. 4 ways Peterson lost this game. 1, I'll start in the 4th quarter, and forget about defenders running into each other. You insert Wendell Smallwood. For the first time in the game, to carry the ball, he immediately coughs it up. He's cold. You hand it to him for 1. 2, Peterson continued to call a horizontal, try to kind of prevent offense, sort of let me salt away the win and stop being aggressive plays like the 30-yard, on the 30-yard line. The screen pass didn't fool anybody. Everyone in the building, everyone watching on TV knows that they just need to get in field goal position, which they already were. They need a couple more yards. They're not looking to do anything deep. So you're not going to suck in the defense. You're not fooling anybody on that play. They get sacked for a loss, or they get tackled for a loss, and now they're supposedly out of field goal range, but they're not out of field goal range.
Right.
They got a 53-yard attempt. And Caleb Sturgis had hit 17 in a row, including a 55-yard attempt that was good twice earlier in the game because Garrett called a timeout. He had to hit it again. So you punt instead of kick the field goal? What is that? And then at the end of the game, the special teams unit, the best in the NFL, you don't give them a chance to block a punt. You got 2 timeouts left. You let the clock run out, go to overtime. You can block the punt. You can return the punt with Darren Sproles, who's been on fire all game. The rookie head coach lost that game for the Philadelphia Eagles.
You know, I will agree with you. And this is the sense I did pick the Philadelphia Eagles to win. And the reason was because I felt like we would control the football in Philadelphia and force Dallas to turn the football over. Well, they had Dak able to turn the football over. But when I look at the Dallas Cowboys, and it hurts me to say this, but Jason Garrett is doing a great job with Dak Prescott by running the football, establishing some downfield threats by Dez Bryant. Obviously, there were a couple misses in that particular point, but they're ranked number 1 in the league in running the football. When you have a rookie quarterback, you have to run the football and play strong defense, and that's exactly what Dallas is doing. Now, on the other side with the Philadelphia Eagles, they're 17th in the run. And you can't win football games if you're relying your rookie quarterback to win it for you. Every pass that they were throwing were under 15 yards. Everyone's going to sit on that route. Now, if you're not establishing the intermediate passing game, then you have to go back to the run, which they couldn't do that. Now, defensively, I think Schwartz got caught up a little bit in trying to do a little too much. When you're playing against this team, you want to stop the run and force Dak to throw the football. Well, there were so many people open downfield that Dak missed. Now, he was throwing off his back foot.
Yep.
He wasn't controlled in the pocket. It looked like he was forcing things. I don't know if it was more coming off the bye week, if it was trying to get Dez involved, or if it was because Tony Romo was on the sideline, whatever it may have been.
I thought Schwartz bailed Peterson out a lot.
Well, he bailed him out, but when it came down to it in the fourth quarter and overtime, it seemed like he threw everything at Dak Prescott, which worked in the favor of Jason Garrett. Now, for Carson Wentz, you have to let the kid go. It's time to let him go. Release everything you have on him. Because they don't have a guy that can get downfield and establish the tempo downfield. So now Zach Ertz got to step up his game. You already have Jordan Matthews as your intermediate passer. So take the pressure off of this rookie quarterback because you're asking him to do too much.
Two things. One, I thought Carson Wentz was outplaying Dak Prescott until the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you complete 5-6 yard routes.
But they didn't let him go. That's part of Peterson's problem. He didn't let his guy even try to do his thing. It just didn't happen.
But that's the thing. Going into play, you change up now because you feel like they know us. Well, no, they don't know you, Doug. And the whole thing about it is if you establish the downfield threat, that opens up the intermediate passing game, and that's where you start to see Dallas be very effective. Now, they held Ezekiel Elliott to under 70 yards rushing leading into the main part of the game. But then when it came down to it, the running game took over for Dallas.
Wait a minute, though. But you brought up the Eagles running game. Remember, Darren Sproles had 86 yards on 15 carries, and he was somewhat of a threat.
Where's Matthews?
I understand that. Jordan Matthews only had about 65 yards receiving, the leverage reception. But I guess what I'm saying to you is this. We walked into this game knowing that. We knew that the Eagles were suspect running-wise, and we knew that the lone weapon that they had was Jordan Matthews, because Green Beckham's going to drop passes, as he did again yesterday. That was the problem when they traded for him. Everybody said, is this dude going to catch the ball? He's got the athletic ability. He's got the physical prowess. We know he can get open. We know he can get the ball. Will he catch it? And there were a couple of pivotal drops that he had yesterday, as far as I'm concerned, that neutralized him. In the end, what it comes down to is this. Dallas won this game because of what we thought, or I thought, would lead to victory. They would run the football to some degree. Dez Bryant was returning, and somehow, some way, when it counted most, that was something that they would be able to rely upon, a 75-yard scoring drive where the Eagles don't even get to touch the ball in overtime, delivered the good.
The question was, did the Cowboys win it or the Eagles lose it? Peterson's decisions in the fourth quarter, and I listed them, there were 4 of them, led to that loss. But since you brought it up, let's talk about the actual execution by the players. You know, the Eagles are 3rd worst in the NFL in terms of drop percentage. And they were tied for worst in the NFL with 4 drops yesterday.
Okay.
So that's not just Green Beckham. That's not
That's
just
nothing new.
That's nothing new.
Right. But if
So
you
what
say
you
who
pick
won
it
it or
for?
lost it, they're getting the ball and they're dropping it. That's losing
Hold on.
it. You should complete those
May I
passes.
ask
I
you a
did play
question?
in Philadelphia.
May I play the role of Molly Wood here? Can I ask you a question, Max Kellerman?
Go ahead.
You just pointed out how that's one of the things that's plagued them this season.
Yep.
Yeah.
What the hell you pick them for?
Well, they should have won.
Well, no.
Even with
Drop passes?
Even with the 4 drop passes, I just
A
explained
17th ranked Ratchet attack?
Peterson doesn't kick the field goal, making it a 2-score game. The screen pass was a terrible idea. Everyone knew it. He then doesn't use his timeouts to try to win the game in regulation. Those are all mistakes that and also gets super conservative towards the end of that game. That's why they lost.
I picked them because of their defense. It wasn't because of their offense. I thought their defense would apply pressure onto Dak Prescott and force him to turn the football over. Now, what that means is you're going to put 8 in the box. You're going to put 8 in the box. You're going to stop the run and force Dak to throw the ball downfield. Now, what that means your middle linebacker is going to have to blanket a guy like Jason Witten. If you blanket Jason Witten, that forces him to look only to Cole Beasley and maybe downfield to Terrence Williams. Now, Dad's coming back changed things up a little bit because now that puts pressure on the corners to make sure they focus on
Well, Dez coming back definitely changed things up a little bit. As a matter of fact, Dak Prescott ignored Cole Beasley on a couple of occasions.
Trying to throw it to Dez.
Which was a very frustrating
It hurt them
because
for a
Cole
while.
Beasley's right there.
Trying
But
to
you
throw
also
to
got to
Dez.
remember this, and this is my last point. Eagles were ranked 20th against the run. They're ranked 20th against the run now. They were ranked worse. They were ranked around that coming into this game. You're talking about you were concerned about Dak Prescott throwing the ball. I was concerned about the Dallas Cowboys being able to run the football on Philadelphia, which was my problem.
Eagles controlled most of that game, blew it at the end.
Okay.
Dak Prescott, the only rookie
Entitled to-
quarterback, along with Andy Dalton in 2011, that was down 10 points in games and won multiple games from 10-point deficits. Only rookies ever. We want you guys to weigh in at home. Are the Cowboys now the favorites to win the NFC? Go on the First Take Twitter page, make your voice heard. We want to hear from you guys a little later in the show. Meanwhile, these 7-1 Patriots are perfect since Brady took over. Shocker. He has 12 TDs in 4 games and 0 interceptions. Brady has thrown 4 over 1,300 pass yards and is completing 73% of passes, Max. All I heard last night on television, watching everything, is that Brady should be the MVP. Do you still believe this man does not belong in the conversation?
There's no way he should win it this year, and eventually he will be in the conversation if this keeps up. But at this point, anyone who's even considering that through this many games Brady's the MVP is out of their mind. He has only played in half the games. Even if you give him 100% credit for every win, and remember they were 3-1 without him.
All right.
So he doesn't obviously deserve 100% credit for all the wins because they were 3-1 versus,
Keep going.
Even if you give him all of that, he's had 0 impact on the other 50% of the games. It is irrational and impossible for anyone to even put him in that conversation at this point.
Let me tell you what Max Kellerman just did, Donovan McNabb. Before he went into that little soliloquy, see, Max talks real fast, and he's real slick because he's brilliant. He's brilliant. I mean, the Ivy League education really, really works because this brother's smart. What he did was he was saying what he said, but prior to the soliloquy, he dropped in a little line there. At this point, hell no. What you said was, a week ago, before, and you don't care what Brady does this year.
That's right.
Based solely on the fact that this man missed 4 games
Sure.
under no consideration at any point. So that means this week, 4 weeks from now, 8 weeks from now, your position is going to still be the same. Donovan McNabb,
That's right.
I sat up there and I looked at Max Kellerman and I said, do you realize that Brady's on pace to throw over 4,000 yards? He said yes. I said, do you realize that he's on pace right now to throw 32 touchdowns and 0 interceptions? What if he let's give him 4 interceptions in the year. So if he throws 32 touchdowns and
Nick
4
Foles
interceptions.
did the same
wait a
thing
minute.
the other year.
Quarterback rating, wait a minute.
27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, same thing.
Listen,
Was Nick Foles the MVP?
listen.
Did he just
I'm
throw
trying.
Nick Foles?
He just threw Nick Foles. Nick Foles.
You're talking about what if he has 32 touchdowns and 4 interceptions?
Allow me. Look, because you're my man. You're my man. I got to look out for you. Boston's after you. You realize you can't show up in Boston, right? You can't show up anywhere in the state of
gonna go to
Massachusetts.
Foxborough.
They're calling me because they're looking for your number. Everybody
sure,
wants you
sure.
because you don't
I'll
make any
explain it
sense.
to them.
You
I'll
don't
have to
make-
talk slowly,
Are you
but I'll
sure?
explain
Are
it.
you sure? Are you sure? Did you just say that? That was a very, very incendiary statement about Massachusetts.
Yeah.
But you handle that. My point to you is this. Brady is on pace to throw about 32 touchdowns, maybe 4 interceptions, have a QBR 89-90, got a quarterback rating over 130. His numbers are better than 2007. And Max is talking about there's no way he could be MVP.
That's right.
Max, something is wrong with you.
You would never say if a basketball player played in 60 games.
I would say
they
that.
should be MVP.
Yes, I would. Yes, I would.
If a baseball player
We argued that.
played 120
Molly,
games, should he be the MVP?
can I get some help here? Did
No.
I not argue that? Did I not argue a week ago that if a player plays 60 games?
I have one question for Max. When the Patriots played the Bills,
Take it over, Donovan.
without Brady, how many points did they score?
Right, but that's one game, Molly. So you're going to give him credit. They were 3-1 without him, 4-0 with him.
0. 41
So that's
yesterday.
one game. Is that an MVP because you give him one
if he
game
did it
over?
for
No,
Well,
it's everything else that he did.
Max, as Stephen A. likes to say a lot, you are so disrespectful.
Thank you.
I mean,
Telling the truth.
Thank you.
for a
You're
guy
disrespectful.
a guy's 39 years old, yeah, he missed 4 games, but the way that he's been playing, this whole offense,
playing great.
everyone understands that they have to be accountable for their mistakes. And all Tom is doing at this point is being flawless at the quarterback position. Now, he's one of the quarterbacks who probably gets sacked the least. Yesterday, he got hit up a little bit, but yet still stayed strong. You look at his weapons, I tell you, probably wouldn't have maybe one Pro Bowler if he took out Gronkowski. Now, Julian Edelman has done great things for him. Chris Hogan all of a sudden becomes a household name.
That's true.
LeGarrette Blount is running the football. Their offensive line is playing well, and that was mainly because of the 4 games that he missed where everybody understood they had to do their job. Now, with Tom coming back at 39 years old, you're not asking him to do that much, but yet still, you don't see a quarterback in this game playing like Tom Brady.
He has played in the 4 games he's played, and he's played better than anyone in those 4 games.
Yeah, and so basically what we're saying,
when you're trying to give him credit for the 4 games he missed by saying his absence.
I'm not giving him credit for the 4 games. What I'm saying is I'm giving Josh McDaniels, I'm giving Bill Belichick credit because there was no Gronkowski. All of a sudden, Martellus Bennett looked like Kellen Winslow Sr.
That's right.
Now with Gronkowski coming back, Gronkowski's getting 100 yards receiving a game.
Wait, are you saying that before Brady was active, the coaching staff coached them up to a 3-1 record?
Absolutely.
Right.
What, the
so the coaching staff deserves a lot of credit, like now.
I'm not saying they don't. Josh McDaniels is going to be up for a head coaching job, but what we're seeing for Tom Brady is something we've never seen from a 39-year-old quarterback.
Except for that when Peyton Manning did it just the other year.
But what happened to Peyton Manning? Peyton Manning fell off.
He threw 55 touchdowns that year, and then he fell off the cliff.
The top 4 MVP candidates to me right now are Tom Brady, Ezekiel Elliott, Matt Ryan, and Derek Carr. So who would you take out of all 4?
I agree with that.
You're conflating various ideas, which everyone does in these MVP debates. I agree. MVP actually means who's the best. I think best and valuable are the same thing. And in the 4 games in which he's played, Tom Brady is the best and the most valuable. But since that's only 50% of the games, you have to divide that value in half.
Wait a minute.
And half of Tom Brady is not better, more valuable.
We're not voting on MVP right now.
Well, we're talking about it right now.
We're talking about MVP right now. What I'm saying to you is this, Max. If Tom Brady plays every game, that's 80% of the game. 75% of the games. I'm sorry.
That's
75% of the games.
Right.
What's the problem?
So you're saying 75% of Tom Brady will be better than 100% of anyone else this
I'm
year?
saying to you that Tom Brady.
I would agree.
Listen, at 75%, if Tom Brady, I said this to you, let's not sit up there and try, to use your word, conflate the issues. I have said to you, if Tom Brady went 11-1 or 12-0, passed for 4,000 yards, got a QBR 90, a quarterback rating of 130, and he's completing more than 73% of his passes. You made the proclamation
The answer is
that
no,
under
no
no
MVP.
circumstances.
That's unbelievable.
So your hold on, wait a minute. So your whole thing is the fact that he missed 4 games that disqualifies him from everything.
That is, by the way,
that's the point you're making.
That's such an obviously self-evidently true statement.
That is not who other than you.
You say 4 games like that's a low number. That is 25% of every game played by that team this season. And you're getting caught up in the unfairness of it all because he's playing at such a high level that obviously if he had those other 4 games too, he would be MVP. But you got to take that value out of his season.
We're not even doing that.
We're not even doing that because in a situation you mentioned baseball, if a baseball player plays 125, 130 games.
120, exactly. It's 120.
Ryan Howard was MVP and came in later in the part of the.
He was never 120 games he played.
But he came in late in the later part of the season. It wasn't the beginning
Joe
of the season.
Montana won it in '89, and he
13.
didn't play 3
And
games.
he didn't play 3
games.
games.
That's right. That's the historical precedent, which I'd say is a bad precedent.
And
And even then, no one's ever done it under 13.
But you mentioned Joe Montana. Joe Montana and Tom Brady are up there as 1A, 1B as far as the greatest of all time.
I think Tom Brady is the greatest of all time.
But what I'm saying is, at this particular point, you haven't seen a quarterback that has dominated the game like this. You can talk Peyton Manning, but Peyton Manning also played with a dominant defense. So when you look at Tom Brady has been doing this, and nobody even talks about New England. That's the problem. Nobody talks about New England because we expect this to happen with the New England Patriots.
Tom Brady is doing. Peyton Manning did exactly this a couple seasons ago.
And we were all over Peyton Manning.
Right, but he didn't miss games. He played in all the games.
So
you guys are asking like missing games is not it is a big thing. If you miss 1 or 2, even, okay, fine, you can make the argument if you're that much better than everyone else. You can't miss a quarter of the season. It's ridiculous, especially if your second and third string quarterbacks going 3-1 in your absence.
If you are balling,
he's got to go 10-2 to be
if you are balling
Yes.
at an elite level, my only point is that I'm trying to. Everyone needs to understand your overlying point. If he misses 4 games, because he has missed 4 games, whatever he does doesn't matter when it comes to league MVP honors. That's it. So we don't have to go anywhere else. You believe that because Tom Brady missed 4 games,
or you can say
nothing
25% of the season.
Correct. Nothing he does qualifies him for MVP.
Correct.
That's nonsense.
Correct.
That's nonsense.
That logic is so straightforward and irrefutable. I can't believe
not
anyone
irrefutable.
argues.
Is it a health advantage? Is that where you're going with? Because he's healthier, he's more well-rested, he's not as banged up as playing a full season?
You know what I
I
call
can't
him?
believe
I call him Spot Kellerman. That's what I call him. Logical. It's so logical. It's so logical.
It's really
my logic
simple.
can't be denied.
No matter how valuable you are, if you are not so much more valuable than the second best player in the league, that you only play 75% of what they play and you're more valuable than them. Not in reality, in your emotional state maybe, if people are like, oh, he's so great, he's the great Tom Brady, look at this amazing play. But in reality, you won't have as much value, particularly when you have to go 10-2 to be even 1 game above your replacement second and third string quarterbacks, because they went 3-1.
People won't even remember who their backup is.
Exactly. And there have been
in 2 or 3 weeks.
Listen, you've got MVPs that have missed a game or 2 or whatever the case may be. You're saying 4, 25% of the game. Automatically. So in other words, Tom Brady could go undefeated, not throw a single interception all year long. The New England Patriots could run the table and still, in the world of Max Kellerman, because he missed 4 games, he's not MVP.
I will say this.
That is nonsense. That is nonsense.
If Tom Brady goes undefeated and doesn't throw an interception, I will reevaluate at the end of the season.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
I like the
he
names
probably
you
think
threw out,
Tony
though.
Romo was in there, too.
That's right. That's right.
It's not going to happen. But
Donovan throwing out Matt Ryan and Derek Carr as well. We're going to talk about Derek Carr a little later in this show.
Read option, he keeps big hole. Walk the dog. Give him a bowl of water.
Clance fires. Caught. Touchdown, Jordan Matthews.
Holy cow.
Caught.
He's taking another shot in the end zone. It is! Touchdown, Des Bryant. There's the X. Fields around left. Now he throws it to the end zone. Jason Witten. Touchdown. Cowboys win.
Well, hello there. Happy Halloween. Welcome into First Take on a Monday. Look who's here. Donovan McNabb, Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman. I'm Molly Karam. Donovan, I tried to get them to dress up. I wanted to do a whole theme. I was denied. Too cool for school.
I am not in a funny mood. I'm not in a funny mood.
Really?